What's happening? My name is Adrian and welcome back to What the Pun. So, rolling back the clock to roughly 2 years ago with the Mark 6 Golf R, I did a video upgrading the stereo to something a bit more current because the original units didn't have things like Android Auto, MirrorLink, or Apple CarPlay. So I wanted to look for something to upgrade in the car, and instead of going for the very popular third-party options like Pioneer, Kenwood, and all those other brands, mainly because I didn't like the look that it left the car in. I wanted the car to still look very much original, stock, standard. So I opted to look for a very popular unit out there for these Mark 5, Mark 6 Golfs, which is the known as like the RCD330, 360 units. And I at the time just went for the best eBay seller with the cheapest option at the time. Little did I know there was many variants out there, and depending on the price you pay, you have different options and quality, should I say. So in today's video, we'll basically be looking at the original unit that came with my Mark 6 Golf R and doing a bit of a comparison between the cheaper alternative RCD330 from eBay, which I've had in the car for almost 2 years, and comparing it to the supposedly VW supplier RCD330 unit. So let's get started. Okay, so this is the original one that came with my Mark 6 Golf R. I believe this is the RNS 510, which I believe is the better unit that you could have opted for at the time. CD player, DVD player, I believe, correct, might be wrong, but I believe you can play DVDs on this. Yeah, maps, navigation, traffic messages, standard options, I guess, radio, and in terms of bands, there's no DAB, so it's just standard FM, AM. Touchscreen response is, well, it's okay, I guess. It's not too bad. Bit slow in terms of response time. Phone is only for Bluetooth, so mainly for answering phone calls. Media is for the SD card. Tone is just to change the audio quality. You do have the auxiliary connection for this as well, and yeah, so not too bad for an original unit of the time, but just in this day and age you are lacking like the sort of modern day features like Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. Okay, so this one is the first RCD 330 360 unit I put in the Mark 6 Golf R. Radio, standard FM, AM, media, allows me to connect a device through Bluetooth for audio, USB for if I have a USB stick, I'm assuming, with media on it. Same with SD card. So if you have a device that doesn't support Apple CarPlay or Android Auto, you can use this feature as well. Scan is for when you're trying to scan for stations through the radio feature. Phone for phone calls when you have your phone connected. Setup, you have these options. Sound, which is very similar options you have in the RNS 510. Screen options, the touchscreen response isn't too bad. System information, what do we have here? So missing part number, hardware number, those, yeah, I think that will show up almost the same on the other unit. Software version, not sure if it's updatable because you're missing part numbers here, so I don't believe, according to the internet, this is a unit that's upgradable. App would take me straight over to CarPlay. CarPlay standard stuff on CarPlay, so any apps that you have on your device that's compatible will show up straight away. So music, standard audio test. Let's have a little quick listen.
Crazy for profits, need all of the gang to be flossing. Failure ain't never an option. And I told my bros we gon' get it, and if I done said it, I meant it. For 365, I grind.
Okay, take notes of the audio quality from that snippet right there. So yeah, front USB to connect to your device or charge your device, card reader. That's about it for this unit. Let's have a look at the next one, shall we? Okay, next up is this unit from RCD330.com. It's said to be a DESAY DESAY unit 187B version with 1GB of RAM. I opted for this one because it also came with an additional USB port I can add to the car down here. So instead of plugging my phone here, I have it down here now, so it's not hanging from the front. You may notice some difference. USB port still here. You have an aux port now on this unit. SD card, missing a scan button. One of the main things I noticed straight away with this unit is that the buttons sound a bit better, if you know what I mean. The quality, you do hear a bit of quality on the buttons, whereas the previous unit, their buttons are a bit spongy. Alright, so let's have a look. What do we have here? Radio, same thing. FM, AM, same style in terms of the look of the system. Media, pretty similar as well. What you would notice is that now we have the aux option as well as Bluetooth audio, USB, SD card. Phone, same thing for the phone. Setup, similar options. If I scroll down, where are we? System information. You have a part number, hardware number, unlike the one before. I believe I can also update the software on this. There are later versions, I believe, which fix connectivity issues. Okay, so straight over to CarPlay. Let's try another audio test. We may notice difference, maybe not. Let's have a look.
Then I'll kick straight back and strap facts till I'm mad for us. We dealing in lessons, not losses. From young'uns, we grinding, we working, we wanna be bosses. The dunya is crazy, my brothers be moving so crazy for profits. Need all of the gang to be flossing.
So yeah, may or may not notice a difference with audio quality, but another thing you may notice is these buttons. The light is more even in these, whereas on the other unit you may notice some of the buttons at the top, the lighting is a bit dimmer. Yeah, overall pretty happy with this unit as well. Overall touchscreen response is good, it's quick. Other thing to note about this unit, unlike the cheaper alternative, you don't need an adapter to plug straight into the cabling of the car. So this one, the only adapter that came with this car was for the antennas, which is the similar situation as the other unit. Yeah, this one just plugs straight into the original Volkswagen cabling, so which is good. So if you are looking for cheaper alternatives, just make sure that if it requires an adapter, you have the adapter to plug it into your car. But otherwise, yeah, this is the bit more pricier option on the market. Well, between the cheaper alternative RCD330 and the slightly pricier model, is it worth paying the difference? I would say maybe just about worth paying the difference. Having very close look between the units, you can tell there's a subtle difference in terms of build quality. One thing that I noticed straight away is how the buttons feel between the both of them. Cheaper one, the buttons feeling quite spongy, whereas the one I paid a bit more for, you can actually feel the quality in how the button presses, click, 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 as opposed to sponge, sponge, sponge. Yeah, also not having to buy other adapter cables. So if the one you're buying doesn't come with all the correct cables to fit with your car, then you have to find the correct adapter cables. Whereas the more expensive one, RCD330, that just straight away plugs into the existing cables of the car. Performance wise, very subtle difference in performance differences. The more expensive one does perform a bit faster, doesn't lag, but very subtle. Touchscreen response is quite smooth as well. The option to update the software, yeah, but I'm not saying the cheaper one is bad. I've had that one for 2 years. It's been pretty reliable. I've only had a few instances where it suddenly decided not to connect to my phone, but otherwise the cheaper one, it's been solid. 2 years and still running, so can't complain there. So that's it from me this week. Hope you enjoyed today's video. If you're not already a subscriber, make sure you click on that subscribe button. Also click on that like button and the notification bell so you don't miss out on any upcoming videos. That's it from me this week, but make sure you come and check us out next week where we'll be looking at a bit of this. For this little 1.6 litre pops and bangs. See you next week.